You're listening to the Patenting for Inventors podcast with registered patent attorney, Dr. Adam Diamond, founder of Diamond Patent Law, the #1 source for securing your intellectual property needs. Now, here's your host, Adam Diamond.
Hello and welcome to the Patenting for Inventors podcast, episode 74, How to Correct Simple Mistakes in an Issued Patent, Certificates of Correction. My name is Dr. Adam Diamond, a registered patent attorney and founder and owner of Diamond Patent Law in Los Angeles, California. I can be contacted through my website at diamondpatentlaw.com, that's D-I-A-M-E-N-T, patentlaw.com, or call me at 424-281-0162. In the last episode, I talked about what to do if you made a mistake in your patent after it issues, and if it's a pretty big mistake, like you made your claims too broad or too narrow. And these are taken care of in a reissue application. And it's not really guaranteed that you're going to get your patent reissued because it's going to be examined all over again. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how to correct mistakes that are fairly simple in nature. And although nothing's guaranteed, if it's an obvious mistake like a typo, it's pretty easy. But first of all, there are actually two kinds of mistakes. There are patent office mistakes and applicant mistakes. If the patent office makes a mistake, the patent office can issue a certificate of correction by itself, or you can request the mistake to be corrected, or even a third party potentially can request the mistake to be corrected. If the patent office makes a mistake, there's no charge, and what will happen is that when you view the patent, there will be something at the end of it with a certificate of correction. So how do you request your patent to be corrected? There's a form, which is Form PTO SB74, and on the form you'll fill in the patent number, application number, issue date, inventors, and there's a box about how you want the patent to be corrected. What you're supposed to do is list the error and correction by column and line number in your patent, or if it's in the claim, you list your claim and line number. You might say, in Claim 5, replace the word higher with above, or replace the word region with layer. Now, just because you made a mistake like these, which would be considered clerical errors because they're not typos, it doesn't mean that automatically it will get allowed. It really has to be clear from the specification that it's obvious to a person having ordinary skill in the art that when you wrote one word, you actually meant another word. But there was a case where the claims were the inventors claimed something having rear walls in the plural. And later, after it got issued, they realized that what they meant was a rear wall and that it didn't have to be plural. It could just have a single rear wall. Now, the court said that this was not something that would be corrected with a certificate of correction because someone could read from the specification and really think that they were claiming that it has to have more than one rear wall. So the infringers could come around and make something with one rear wall and not infringe their patent. So you do have to be careful. Now, technically everything is not lost. If you make that kind of mistake, you could do a reissue application and try to get broader claims of a single rear wall that's only required instead of multiple rear walls. But it's just a bigger hassle to do in a reissue application and have the entire patent examination have to start all over again and wait all this time compared to just getting a quick certificate of correction by changing one word and then you're done with it. Now, if it's your own error and not the patent office error, the fee is currently $150 to make this request, but always check the latest patent fees. If the patent office made a mistake because, maybe there was some reason, there was a printing error and some words were incorrect, then there isn't a charge. And you file this like any other response to the patent office, and the easiest way to do this is through e-filing, and it should take about 1 to 2 months, but for the certificate of correction to come through. But I'm looking at one right now, which is patent number 9014524, where it took almost 3 years to get the certificate. But the latest stats that I've seen say that 95% get corrected within 1 year. I'm not sure what the issue was in that one that took almost 3 years, but if it's really taking a long time, you might want to call the patent office and see what's going on. Now, you still have your patent when it's undergoing this request for certificate of correction, so it's not like you don't have anything, but you do want your patent to be accurate. Now, if someone looks up your patent, they're going to see the original patent with all the mistakes in there, but there will be a page at the very end that's going to be what you wrote in Form PTO SB74. It's not changed at all. It's essentially just a photocopy of your request, and when it's approved, the patent office just sticks that at the end of your patent. Now, when you're allowed to do a request for a certificate of correction, it's in the Manual Patent Examining Procedure, sections 1480 and 1481. There are 3 things that are listed. It says 1, a clerical nature, 2, a typographical nature, and 3, a mistake of minor character. Now, besides those three things, it says that the correction must not involve changes that would, 1, constitute new matter, or 2, require re-examination. If it requires re-examination, then you have to do a reissue application. Now, usually it's typos or things that are just obvious mistakes. Maybe you wrote the word higher at one time, but you can clearly tell by the context everywhere around your patent and use of other words around it that the applicant actually meant lower. But it really has to be an obvious mistake and not something you're trying to get away with by changing what your invention is. If the patent office thinks that you're really just trying to change the scope of your invention, then your request will be denied and you should file a reissue application like I talked about last episode. You can also request a certificate of correction to correct assignee names because the assignees are listed on the patent itself and you want to make sure that's correct. Another error that can happen is if there's an error on who's listed as an inventor, or maybe there's a misspelling in an inventor's name. If it's the issue of wrong inventors, either you don't have one that should have been, or someone should be taken off as an inventor. Maybe you had 5 inventors, but after all the examination went through, only certain very specific claims got allowed. And those claims were really only invented by 4 of the inventors, and the 5th inventor had nothing to do with what got allowed. If you're correcting an inventor that needs to be added or removed, there's an extra step that includes statements from each person being added and from each person that was named as an inventor about why this happened, and that there's no disagreement from the inventors that were already on the patent. If there is a disagreement, let's say someone wants to be added as an inventor and they weren't included originally, and the other inventors disagree, then that's not something you can fix with a certificate of correction. You'll have to do a reissue patent application and deal with all those invention issues there. It can be pretty messy and litigious when there are fights about who is and who isn't an inventor. Now, let's say you change your name, like you got married, and you want your new name to be on the issued patent. That's not something that can be changed because that's not considered a mistake. You'll just have your original name on the patent. The latest stats that I've seen show that there are about 20,000 to 30,000 patents that are corrected each year. So it's not an uncommon thing, but it's still less than 10%. That's about it for a certificate of corrections and some common things that you might want to correct. But I consult with a patent attorney before you attempt to do this yourself because you don't want to get trapped into saying something that you don't mean when it comes to your patent, especially if it's already issued, which can mess up things in the future for you. And if you want help with your patent application, trademarks, responding to rejections, appeals, or anything else related to your invention, you can contact me through my website at diamondpatentlaw.com. That's DIAMENT patentlaw.com. Call me at 424-281-0162 or email me at adam@diamondpatentlaw.com. I'm Adam Diamond, and until next time, keep on inventing.
Thanks for listening to the Patenting for Inventors podcast with host Adam Diamond. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review on iTunes. The contents of this podcast are intended for general informational purposes only. The facts of every legal matter are unique, and the content of this podcast should not be construed as offering legal advice for your specific legal situation. For more information and help with your own intellectual property needs, contact Adam Diamond at patentingforinventors.com. That's patentingforinventors.com. Or call Diamond Patent Law at 424-281-0162. The preceding information may be considered an attorney advertisement and does not establish any attorney-client relationship.